I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Manningsman. I know many of you would have been looking out for the show at 11, but we have other duties that we have to perform, which led to us not doing our show at a regular time of 11 a.m. And for that, we apologize. All right, we apologize for that, but it is for a very good reason. All right, not creating excuses, but there are other things that are great importance that must be done. All right, so if you were waiting at 11 and you didn't find the show, then we didn't have one at that time. We are going to go up until 2 because we have some other very, very important things to do later in the afternoon that we must make time for. We believe that, Jamaican says better late than never, but we always believe it's better never late, right? Punctuality is always important, and part of punctuality is not being on time, but being present before time. You understand? It is being early. All right? So stick and stay. It is going to be a very good show. We're going to discuss racism in the sport of football, just generally in sports, but in particular football, given what has been happening in La Liga, in particularly with Vinicius Jr. What I think I would do if I were in his position, but I am not, and only those who feels it knows it. So sometimes we oftentimes speak about what we would do, but until we are in that position, we may not be able to. All right, the postponement of the Reggae Girls game against Canada and what that looks like, what will be happening. And then we're going to discuss, are the Reggae Boyz the best in the Caribbean? We're going to have a discussion. If your answer is yes, then what is the reason for your answer? And if no, what is the reason for the answer? We begin our morning by giving thanks to the Most High God. We look to the hills from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. All right? Yeah. Yeah, man. You understand me? Yep. So we want to do that. We want to continue to give thanks for life and life more abundantly. We are well. We are in we have our beings, we have breath in our lungs, and we give thanks for that. I don't take it for granted that these things happen. You understand me? I'm ever grateful. I also know that, listen, in this life, if you don't want to be criticized, be nothing, say nothing, and do nothing. And even if you choose that option, people will still criticize you. Nothing is wrong with criticism, whether it be negative or positive, because you must use your critics and your criticism labeled against you in a negative as building blocks to greater success. Never let the critics, the negative ones, the criticism pull you down and tear you down. I was recently, but we're not afraid. Yes, Jason, indeed. Indeed. I'm going to get to some of the comments, but as usual, I ask you to do what I do, which is just remind someone maybe they were looking for the show, they didn't see it, so they think it is not on. So send it to someone. You understand me? Let them know I've just done that. I'm not asking you to do anything that I am not doing myself. I am here on my phone looking for some persons. Who can I send it to? All right, so let me find one. All right, here you go. One, two, three, four, five. And there you go. And I send it to them. All right, I see a couple of comments. Big up to all the persons, Triple E, Jason, Kevin, Reed, Baggio up, know yourself. That's an important statement. Big up, Fresh God, always early, always up and running. Joan Spence, the first female, she has gone past sure improvement, and A.M. Henry in turning up early, but that could be my fault because they probably were on. Omar Fowling, big up yourself as well. Okunsanya Simis. I hope I got the pronunciation of your name right. Don't want to chop it up and dice it up, you know. I know people hold dearly to the pronunciation of their names. All right, so bear with me. KMW Media, big up yourself. I see no yourself saying, management, how can we beat Lance for his recent comments on the national team get get top quality international Jamaicans to represent. I'm not sure. I though this is I am sure sports. I'm not sure I understand this. Know yourself. How can we beat Lance? I don't know if it's a question, a statement. On the national team get top. I'm not sure. So, if you could rephrase or retype, then that would better help me. Mr. United up and running. You have a big game today, right? Manchester United versus Chelsea. That comes up this afternoon as well in the EPL, one of the makeup games that they have. Very important for Manchester United that they get a point. If they lose this game to Chelsea, they could find themselves on the last weekend in a battle to keep fourth spot over Liverpool. So once they get a point, they're basically going to be in that Champions League spot. They lose this game and they could be in some problems. All right. Brain drain, big up yourself. Yeah. Right? Well, their brain drain, I would say Suriname is counted as part of the Caribbean, and Curacao and Martinique, Guadeloupe, all of those nations are counted as part of the Caribbean. So if you can't conquer your region, then you can't even think about. Oh, I think Lance made some xenophobic comments, says Jason. No, I am not aware what he said. So, if someone could help me with that, then I could better speak to it. But before we speak to racism, right, it's very important that we understand that there is a clear distinction between racism and and being xenophobic or xenophobia. All right. You know, for those of you who are you spend quality time in English language class and stuff, you know that the word xenophobia is really one of those words that came into existence. Its origin was in the 19th century. It actually This is just from my knowledge, from my readings. All right. Big up Peso. Welcome to the show. Right. In it because the word that was more common before xenophobia was the word xenomania, which is there was this people were so in love with things from outside of their countries. So it was um yeah, it was xenomania. Like people were so in love with stuff outside of their nation. It was affecting what you call nationalism or patriotism, because people had a greater preference for things outside of their country. Um, and so there was not a celebration of things in their own country. For example, a person would prefer, let's use the American apple over out to eat the apple, as they say in Jamaica. Just something that's not why the word xenomania came into existence. No, so xenophobia is really two Greek words that were combined, right? Xeno, which means strange, and phobia, which means fear, a fear of something, right? So it is really xenophobia is really fear of in its truest meaning. It really means a fear and of strangers or foreigners. All right. In fact, if in its strongest sense, it means hatred of strangers or foreigners. All right. So let me break them down, and then we're going to talk about racism because we need to make the distinction. All right. Um, and we're going to talk about classism, like brain drain refers to, and then we got, because this is in line with what we're discussing, racism in football. Because I've heard xenophobia and xenophobic being used to describe many people, suggesting that there are people who hate hate foreigners. I i i find it very strange to believe a population that major source of income is from foreigners, that they hate foreigners. All right. So in the truest definition, I don't think the majority of Jamaicans, home and abroad, hate foreigners, because we live in foreign country, one, or we welcome tourists. In fact, yeah, Cranky, you can join me now, man, and Jason calling. So he wants us to get into preferences and bias as well. Oh, Jesus, so much. So what Cranky said, people may love money, but may hate the source. All right. So I think generally Jamaicans don't hate foreigners. In fact, if say for example, Cranky visited Jamaica and were in one of our resorts, which I have been exposed to, and and um and say a person from Germany were in the same hotel, pay the same amount of money, I believe most of our local hotel staff who are Jamaicans would treat the German citizen different from how they treat the American cranky who has Jamaican connection. So I think the Jamaican people on a whole have a way, for the most part, of treating foreigners good. But let me just put that in context. They have a way also of believing that it's easier to manipulate foreigners more than local as well. I think that is a fair statement. That a Jamaican, if you go to one of our resorts, they will treat what we call black Americans or black people in the hotels differently. Jamaican people do that than they treat people of other colors, right? That's just a part of what happens. And maybe because they believe that we will not give them big enough tips I don't know. I don't know if it is hate, preference, bias, or it's color, what I call color prejudice, which I think is different from racism. All right. No. So I don't know, I don't know what Lance said, so I can't I don't know the exact statement, but I didn't do this in reference to him. I wanted to get to the Vinicius Junior. So here's what I believe. I think like many Jamaicans who live in Jamaica have an issue or they have a bias or a preference for Jamaican born players, which is wrong. I don't think the majority, though, who hold that view are xenophobic people. I, I, I think they don't hate them because that's very strong. I don't think it is hate, but they have a preference. And I think it is wrong. And they need to be educated that whether you live here, you are born here, you are a Jamaican. And equity and equality is important. I did that a couple of weeks ago. So let me just put that out there as part of my position. For example, people refer to me as being xenophobic. And I'm thinking I believe the majority of people use a term in reference to me don't understand the meaning of the word. All right? Don't understand the meaning of the word. All right. So that's something I have to say. Let me just read this. It says, there is a racial hierarchy throughout the world, and blacks are in the relegation zone, while Caucasians are like Man City and Real Madrid. Boy, I love this person, but they are busy at work. There is a racial hierarchy throughout the world, and blacks are in the relegation zone, while Caucasians are like Man City and Real Madrid. I'd love the person to be. Maybe we need to have this discussion at a later point because I'd love for the person who sent in that text. They can't come on at this time to further expound on that as to what exactly is being said. So now, let's say this. I think the position by many Jamaicans who live in Jamaica of not wanting the best players to play because they're not born in Jamaica is wrong. Is wrong. I want you to follow me. I don't know again the statement of Lance Whitaker, but let me tell you something. Lance Whitaker is somebody that I've been listening. I don't think he's racist or xenophobic. So whatever the statement is, I don't think he's that. He may have preferences and biases, which we all do to some extent. But to label him as xenophobic, like I said, I don't know the statement. Maybe if I heard the statement, then I'd be better able to. But I don't know. So I'm just speaking from an uninformed position. So bear with me. But I know that I have been referred to as being xenophobic. So if I say, listen, I believe that Damian Lowe should start, as an example, people said I'm xenophobic. If I say Andre Blake should keep, people say I'm xenophobic. If I say, listen, Kaim Paris can play for Jamaica, they say I am xenophobic. If I say Leon Bailey is a good footballer, I am xenophobic. If I say Shamar Nicholson can start for Jamaica, and because I say put Antonio on the bench, it is because I am xenophobic. So I think that the use of the term on these spaces has been so overused that anyone who says play somebody born in Jamaica is classified as xenophobic. I do not believe that in all the instances it is so. And I am not denying that there may be xenophobic people. But for you to say, based on a person's statement, that they hate foreigners, remember, this is not just talking about people who are Jamaicans born outside. When they say they are xenophobic, you are saying, listen, you're saying that anybody who is not Jamaican, they hate them. Lance Whitaker, for example, works with someone who is not Jamaican. They always have a mix. So when you use that to define him, you're saying that he hates the young lady he's working with, who is a foreigner. So is that the right use of term? Or is it his own personal preference? All right? All right. So just wanted to explain that now, here is what I think is wrong. Racism. Racism is when you think a next race is less than you. You don't have to hate them, but you don't think they are your equal. And I think there are still people in this world who believe that black people are not their equal. It doesn't matter what you do or what you have accomplished, you are not their equal. You are below them. You are a lesser race, you're a lesser people. I think that is wrong. And anywhere it exists, I personally believe it should be rooted out. Now, one of the big debates is people are just like one of the big debates on the radio is the monkey chant, which was used towards Vinicius Jr. I think that is wrong. It is not that if somebody make the monkey sound, something is wrong with the monkey sound. It's what the monkey sound means when it is directed at the player. And for anyone to suggest that he should lock off his ears, lock off his ears. Vinicius Jr. should lock off his ears and continue playing football. Something is wrong with that. People did not give their lives so that we don't pay attention to being called monkeys while performing at an elite level better than some of the people of other color playing the same thing. And I think FIFA, World Football, need to take a stronger position on this. This has been going on, and I know they have put up banners in stadiums and all of that. But something has to be done. Like the clubs and the operators of these clubs and these leagues need to make a strong position where people pay significant cost and fines. In my position, if it start costing these monies, people's money, and these monies are then given to develop poorer countries, then maybe they will stop. If these clubs start losing points and financial resources, and players, if a player believe, and if it is proven, all right, if it is proven that a club supporters are doing that, or even if your own supporters are doing that, and it is proven, I think there should be deducted significant points. And I think a lot of this would stop. But I'm going to take some comments. Where do I start from? And then I'm going to go on to some more. All right. Let me start from Know Yourself says Lance is wrong. Like again, I did not do this in response to what happened because I don't know what he said. The statement, this one says the statement made by Lance was biased but not xenophobic. This one says Jamaican want to and should prefer top quality locally developed players to shine first. All right. Lance is wrong, man. Jamaica want to and should prefer top local developed players to shine first. Same sentiments as Lance. Xenophobia, dislike of our prejudice against people from other countries. The special word here is prejudice. There you go. That's one definition. But when you look at, remember myself, phobia means fear, and xeno mean strange. strange is also the alien foreigners. So it is in its truest sense, in its original context, from the Greek. That is what it speak to, right? B. Douglas says, I think it's just natural. For instance, the Argentinians got a special love for Diego more than Messi, but in general, they love both of them. Jason says, Mannings, there are people who still harbor this country versus town argument as well. Right, the town versus country argument about I be a town man, I be a countryman is not xenophobia. It is just preferences and biases, I believe. And it is wrong enough. So don't get me, because I know how social media people are going to take this and say, you say it, man is man, say nothing wrong with this, you know. Right. You the people who are listening. God, right? Man is man. No, simply you're biased towards locally developed players, and in my opinion, there is nothing wrong with that. We have a caller, so let's take the call and then we'll get back to some of the comments. Good, good afternoon, Dwight. Welcome to the show. Yeah, man.
Good afternoon, Mannings man. Uh, I'll touch on the 2 points, the two issues. In terms of anyone worldwide, it's not just Jamaican. They will always prefer to see them neighbor picnic, the youth that them see every time train, the local man that him pass by the party shop. Them will prefer to have that person be successful because they can say one day, remember when that you come out of that. That's a fact. That goes on worldwide. So I don't think that is xenophobia or anything like that about Jamaica. Just like the man that grew up in London and him see a Reggie that born in Jamaica, grew up in London, develop in London and everything, and him seeing boss of that, he will always support that guy first or that young lady first. That's a natural human bias.
Yeah.
What in terms of the selection of the national teams and reason why international managers of Jamaica's national team have done better is because they're not looking at those biases are not there because they don't have them, and they're looking at the skill and qualities of the players objectively only because they don't have time to dig into where this guy born from. They're not looking at the birthplace on the passport.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know for myself in personal, half my cousins are born overseas, half are born in Jamaica. We can't pick and choose which one is better or deserve more because it was just the situation of where, and you have within families one sibling born overseas, one
Yeah.
sibling born in the country, right? I don't. A lot of people don't realize there are. I should say a lot of people don't realize currently, as I would say in since 2000, there are a lot of Jamaicans who have one sibling born in Jamaica and one sibling born out of Jamaica. Imagine you're treating one way and the other one the other.
Yeah.
So that is part of what's going on.
All right. So let me let
Um,
me let
in
me
ter-
let, let me ask you. All right. Presently, all right. So let's use the United States as a country.
yeah.
Would it be right for someone to say that Americans are racist and xenophobic?
No, not
Is a
all. No,
general statement
no.
like that?
As a general statement, no.
Yeah. Why? Because there may be places where there is some form of racism. There may be some places
And
where there is
xenophobia,
some
yeah,
side of some sort of xenophobia. But there
yeah,
may be places where people prefer to use the people born there, but it's not
yeah.
xenophobia. It is just their preference. Are they
Yes,
biased towards their particular town? You're from our
yes,
town, so we're going to play you over Dwight because Dwight is from New York.
yeah,
It's not
yes. There's very
necessary.
much that.
Yeah, because sometimes it's different. You may be in Dallas, and there is Arlington, and there is Mansfield. All right. And you're building a team in Arlington. All right. And they may say like, listen, you're from Mansfield. Listen, we are going to let the player from Arlington play. It's not being xenophobic. It may not be racist, but we must admit that there is some form of racism, and there is xenophobia out there. But we need to be able to distinguish which is which, because what we start doing now is label everything under this big thing. For example, like some people are saying that Lance was xeno. Is it really that? But I don't know. Like I say, I don't know the full context. But if he says, "Reason, I really have a lot of time for Kaim Paris, and I think he should be in the 23," is that xenophobia? If he eliminates, even if he eliminates Bobby Reed from his squad to play Karim Paris. He may be wrong, because I wouldn't do that. But that doesn't make him xenophobic, which is what I am trying to say. But normally,
All right.
I believe, Dwight, that with racism, it is easier to identify, because
Yes, it is.
it is easier to identify, because there is a treatment that comes with it, a attitude that is displayed by it. Like Brain Drain says this, right? He is being called monkey not because of racism, but to make him play poorly. So why you don't boo
All
him
right.
then? Like what?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a couple examples I've seen, and in Vinicius Junior's situation, I understand. I have a little bit of, I won't say experience, a bit of perspective on it. Okay. My in-laws are Afro-Brazilian. They're Black Brazilian.
Yeah.
A lot of them look like, half of them look like Vinicius Junior. Okay. When I go to Brazil, when I've gone to Brazil, I haven't gone there since COVID. When they want to go to a restaurant or a nice restaurant or somewhere like that, they don't go and reserve the table. They ask me to go reserve the table.
Yeah.
Why? Because number one, I'm a foreigner. Number two, I'm not from that region. Number three, their perspective and the way I was dressed, they assume I'm not a local person that works an average middle class job.
Yeah.
And trust me, in Brazil, I see it clear as day. The whole way they greet them is different. And this includes some of my in-laws that are lawyers and business owners and everything. I get treated better than they do. That's number one. That's number one. You have to come from the background that Vinicius Junior comes from. Number two, right? Vinicius Junior knows in Brazil, they might not make the songs, but they will boo you and they will do things that are just borderline touching the racism to throw you off your game. And the person is right. Whatever it takes for their team to win.
All right, because he goes on to say,
Right?
yes, but the same fans who call Vinicius Junior monkey admire and worship the black players that play for their club. All right, so
There you go.
here's my
There
thing.
you go.
Here's my bigger issue. If certain homophobic chants are made in the stadium, would action be taken against those fans? So if fans do that to opposing fans, I am sure that the powers that be would still take action, even if the fan meant to just throw the person off their game. So why is it different when racial slurs and chants are used? You still there, Dwight? Dwight? I'm not hearing Dwight. What's going on? Yeah. Hello?
Yes, sound check, man.
Yeah, hearing you now.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me good?
Yeah, so I was saying that, given
Okay.
Brandon's statement, if fans were in that stadium making certain kind of homophobic chants to players and the opposing team, I am sure that strong action will be taken against them. Though they may celebrate the ones who play for their team.
Yes, you're correct. So I posted in a chat. The ones that truly have power to stamp out the behavior are the club owners. The owners of the club, if they say, because they're the ones that are buying Vinicius Jr., buying the players of Africa, buying the players that are there. And the key is you notice, especially in Spain, the players that are off from Africa, from the continent, and the players of the African diaspora, the Brazilians and the ones from within Europe, they do treat them differently. And they do try to get to their head different. It's a mental game. But the people who have the owners are the club owners to say, listen, we as a group are not going to tolerate this.
Yeah,
Okay?
what Ricardo is saying is that if you start taking away points, significant points for these things, then it would open a can of worms. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Because certainly, we can't
But
treat the
I agree with
minority.
it.
Yeah.
They do need to stop the game, but one of the things that happens, sometimes the opposing side will start doing it against the team because they know they can possibly. It's very hard to I should say it's very hard, but you don't know whether the fans are with the home team or they with the supporting team.
Yeah.
So that's why stopping the game and pulling all the players off the pitch is what needs to be done.
Yeah, but you're going to still play the game. I don't think that is enough. Once I can identify that you are connected to whatever club and you're doing that, you know what? We need to show you how serious we are. We are going, you are banned from the state. You're banned. We don't want you at our games. Number one. And your club is going to lose points. Because it's not like Jamaica. In those stadiums, they know who the away fans are. They know who the away fans are.
They have a good idea.
They have a very good idea. They have cameras. They know who purchased the tickets. It's different from ours.
Well, management, I'll touch the comparison. Me personally, I do not like watching or going to football games in Jamaica where the gun finger is pointed at players or at teams or at the fans. I think that should get the same ban, but that's a different topic for another day. Yes.
So
yes.
So if a man score a goal and roll over like you said that same ban?
Yeah. Slap him with a red card. Yes.
Slap him with a red card for that?
Slap him with a red card, the same or yellow card, same way I like him take off the shirt. Boom. The first time he do it, yellow. No. Second time, red.
Is that only for Jamaica though?
No, I'm trying to say that in the Jamaican context. In the domestic league, that's what needs to be done. Right? So that's another question that's another topic for another day, right?
I don't know. That's what I'm struggling. We're going to have to discuss that some other part. Yeah.
So let me also give you a perspective. So I spent a lot of time. So I traveled from Florida to Europe. Usually I would go through Spain or Portugal or sometimes London. So I travel. What I found ironic in Europe is the very group that is discriminated most against in Europe are the ones that are doing the most racist chants. So if anybody who's been to Europe, the Italians, the Portuguese, and the Spanish, to a certain degree, the Greeks, them get no respect. They in their own continent, the Italian, the Spanish, and the Portuguese, them are the number one that themselves. If you tell people they're like, oh, them lazy, them work, them just clean the toilet, them. They get on a whole.
Yeah.
They get not too much respect, and they're the very ones that are doing the racist chants in the stadium.
I don't see how celebrating and busting too blank in the ear should get you a red card.
All right. As I said, it's my opinion.
The man could be supporting law and order. Him could send police, big up on yourself, boom, 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 all police and soldier.
But Manins, let me touch that. Let's look at it.
When a man in track and field win a race and turn and do a gunshot towards him, we dip into a certain thing that needs to be stamped out. It's the
No,
same
I'm
thing in
not saying
football.
that at the schoolboy level. Brandon said the Calabar track athlete that shoot at the KC fan after winning. Him say him support it.
Oh God.
That's what I'm too. That's what I'm too. Michael,
Yeah, but Dwight, we have Marlon who has joined us and Mr. Speed. Mr. Speed
All
is
right.
saying no point deduction, so I don't even want to stay and hear what they have to say, or you want to just go back in the comment section and then.
No, I listen out. I listen out on my other computer.
All right.
Respect though.
Yeah, man. All right. All right. Welcome, Mr. Speed. Mr. Speed, so no points deduction. Marlon, what do you say? Should there be points deduction and a financial fine? And if it's overtime, kick the team out of the competition. What say you?
Marlins, guess what? In football, you have all type of fans, right? And I think if when Brazil, Brazil is one of, I think Vinicius should be used to this, right? I think it's on a bigger platform now. You're playing in La Liga, one of the best league in the world, but in Brazil, I can swear that he has gone through that in Brazil already. Brazil is upper and lower class, and there are states in Brazil.
But classism is different from racism, though.
Listen, there are types of Brazil. You have the Black Indian Brazilian that is tribe from, right? When they leave, they're a person from Rio. I remember being in Brazil and I left with some friends to go watch, right? Go Santos to watch Santos versus Corinthians. The same Brazilian, right? As Duai said a while ago. Duai said a while ago about him being in Brazil, and it's true. It's true. I've been there and I'm going out with the persons and in restaurants and stuff. Once you're a foreigner, a black man foreigner in Brazil, you're okay. But once you're a native Brazilian, there's certain place you go, you make a reservation, you sit the whole time, stand up and wait for a table. But I said the
So
same thing.
that they treat black people different.
Yeah.
Than white people, especially if you are a local black person.
Definitely.
All right. Let me hear what Mr. Speed said. Why he says no point this deduction. Like what? And then tell me what you think should be done when there is racism. Like the monkey chant and the banana throwing on the field and all of those things.
Well, they could do like the guy from Brazil. I think it was Alves who just peel the banana and bite piece and just go and take him corner. The only pity was that the goal never scored from the corner, and I would really feel good. But I mean, no, racism in no shape or form is acceptable. But I don't believe you should deducting points. People are tricky, and you could disrupt the integrity of the competition, and the real winner don't win because for whatever reason. Because even persons who are your fans, could decide that they want to spite you because them don't like the coach or the coach now pick the player who they're supposed to play. So it gets too fuzzy there if you start to pick up points for racism. That is why I don't support it. But you must find other means and methods to make sure that people feel it when it happens, banning them for life from stadiums. I'll put them in a database so everybody can see it. In this day of technology, they'll probably not be able to watch any. Say it's happening in England, they should be able to watch in the Premier League or any league in the professional leagues because you could actually put them in a database so they get rejected whenever they turn up at the gate. Find the club. Yeah, find the club. I mean, and then the club will get stronger against it. So you have a lot of different things that you could use. Play without spectators for a couple of days. That sort of thing. I would support those, but not take points.
All right. DV Group says a 6 deduction and no home fans for 5 to 8 games, I think, should be the minimum for racist.
And the other thing too is the management. The players who is on the field, them not feel the same way like these fans. So you understand? Them not
what?
Feel the same.
No, you don't know that. Maybe them can't express it. But let me hear. Go ahead, Marlon.
And this is one thing, and at first I might say I'm talking from a spectator, and it's the crowd way find out the player. Remember, they have players of African American descent here, right? And there are other black players on the field, actually 4. So I think he was the one who was probably making the biggest impact, and it's a way for spectators to basically wind him up. So yes, the chant and the slur got kind of sound racism, but remember, the persons are there. Kamavinga is there, right? Rudiger was there same way. Militao was there same way. But if you notice, when he got the ball, he was the one they were basically going at.
But what I would say to you to that case, Marlon, is that if Vinicius leave tomorrow, then they're going to do it to Rudiger. And if Rudiger, in other words, they're going to find the next player. They may not wind up all of them at the same time, but it don't mean their sentiments is not the same towards them.
It's the same thing.
Cranky saying that the banning database, etc., are ineffective methods and are basically addressing symptoms and not the root cause. You cannot solve societal issues because it manifests itself in the sporting arena.
I don't know if you remember when Eto'o left Madrid, right?
Yes.
Before he went to Barcelona, it was a lot of person know that Eto'o was our original Real Madrid player, right? Didn't play for them. Went out alone 3 times until he finally. I remember, I think it was 2004. He scored a hat-trick for Mallorca against Real Madrid, and the former president said he will never put on a Real Madrid jersey. Right? And when he decided to make that move to go to Barcelona, every time Eto'o went to the Bernabeu, it's the same thing. The monkey chart was there. So is there something in Spain, right? I've been to La Liga game last year, Villarreal versus Cadiz. It was the same thing. There's a guy game, Chukwueke, the guy from
the Nigerian guy.
You know, but every time they got the ball, that's how they're doing. When they lose the ball, they don't. The other 2 black players on the field, they didn't give a heck about them. But every time they got the ball, right, he was the one who was a danger player. So it's a Spanish thing, right? Even in South America, same way. They're in the Colombian League, which have been there and watched the same thing.
So let me ask this, Mr. Speed, you really believe that if they ban the fans, that would solve the issue?
Well, clubs would have to remember, one of the main sources of revenue is gate receipts. Look here, everybody react when them pocket get burned. Even the richest man, they react when them pocket get burned. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, we would have said 90, probably 99% of clubs in the world, none of them don't make no money. Not one of them make money. So to take away one source from them, you can get a different reaction.
Yeah, I feel like, listen, this has been going on for so long, right? One, I think the player, I also believe that part of this thing should be a player now. If you believe, and it is proven that you are playing in a league and this kind of racism with Vinicius Jr., you should be given an option to leave, to play in a place that you're more comfortable.
No, I don't agree with you. I think
there should be a clause in my contract that allows me to leave.
But it's not the Real Madrid fans that are doing so.
It don't matter.
Yeah, so why would I give you up because somebody else? No, man, you have to tough on that. So, for instance, in a Jamaica.
No, man, I talk about tough man. Me tough man, but not call me no monkey, man. What kind of toughness me need if you're
right. It's all right. I guess when you pay your money and I put it in my pocket. So you can call me almost.
No, we can't say that, Mr. Speed.
Me not leave.
No matter what people call you.
Me not leaving my money. Me must leave Real Madrid when me a superstar and go somewhere else so me not even get no game. Just but
Mr. Speed, same thing about I said to my man is, you remember when Ronaldo went to Real Madrid? And when he went to the new camp for the first time, remember, no, he was a legend at Barcelona. It's the same thing when Figo left Barcelona and go Madrid. It's the same thing. He went there, right? So it's a Spanish thing. As I say, it's a way for them to wind up players. As I mentioned about throwing the banana at Daniel Alves. It was his previous club, Seville.
So you're saying that as long as man are getting money, everything is good. People
no, everything not good. But no.
So I'm not saying everything is going, but I said it's not gonna go away. It's not only black players it happened to.
So if them know him that him is like that and him fickle like that, when him go England, all him have to just racism pan him and him gone. So him not
But
get
the
to
thing
kill
is
my
that
team.
he knows that it will not happen in England. But we have Kyle online. Kyle, because England has come a far way now. You don't really hear those things a lot in England. But let me hear from Kyle.
Exactly.
But go ahead, Kyle. What's
Exactly. Yeah, man, I just want to jump in and put in my 2 cents. And man, Mr. Speed makes the point why you should deduct points.
Yeah.
He doesn't know it, but he has just made the point. If his argument is that people are going to be disruptive and vindictive by basically using the chant to basically, to sabotage our coach, our team, well, that's the reason why you should take down points. Because what's going to happen is your club is going to turn against those who are basically trying to disrupt the
Yeah.
organization.
They're going to turn against those fans.
Exactly. So what's going to happen is the club is going to come down hard, ban them, kick them out of the stadium, persona non grata. England, like you said, had that problem back in the 80s. Now, what did the English do? You know, they basically started educating people. And let me just say this problem is not going nowhere. But what sanctions does is it tells society is this is not right.
And we do
you
not
should not
support
act
it.
like this.
Yeah.
Right. And if you do, there will be penalties. I believe the most severe penalties is to deduct points. That alone will straighten up everybody because nobody wants to be the culprit who is going to cost their team a trophy. And if you do, believe me, fan will turn against fan like man against man. You know, blood will run. Simple as that. Anyway, gentlemen, I gotta run and have a good day.
All right. Yes, Jason, I think Vinicius Jr. should leave Real Madrid and come to Arsenal. You understand me? But that is not my own. Cracky said, here is a question. How does one negate the effectiveness of the current racism methods being employed if punishment will not prevent this? He says, England has enacted laws, but they are not foolproof, right? You have to do something. So tell me, it cannot be right. Education and heavy penalties will work. I agree with you, Duckland. And then I see Brian talking about this thing about me not leaving my money. Listen, the reason why we're at a better place as black people is because some people left their money. And I think the players should be given that where they can walk away from the money if they so desire. No, if you stay, that's fine as well. But imagine now, all of these players says, okay, this league facilitates, enables these kind of chants without strong sanctions. We're going to go into a league. And even if it means taking less money, we're going to go over into England. It will change.
You can say that, man's man. When you have my family to take care of the whole village where I live, down in Brazil where people might depend on me to care about some money, come fix up the school and the field down there. You can always say I must leave the money. So when we go back and tell the people themselves afterwards. So me not think of that are the way. Me not think the people should force players to go somewhere they don't want to be, or leave them teammates who they love, or them club they love because somebody a monkey chant. I believe so we must find a different way to get to those people because you think they can get to them if they want, I don't think they have the will. Some of them don't have the will. But for you to just me not a team who can win a Champions League, me not a team who can win La Liga or whatever English Premier League, and then me have to go in Russia go play because or over Ukraine go play because a monkey chance. No, me not agree with that. I believe them should punish them though economically, find some stringent punishment for them economically, and I think the problem will go away. I don't know if the problem will go away because you want to take the people and points too tough. I think economics more important than that.
Why we didn't hear this at the World Cup though? I am telling you, it can be dealt with. We never hear it at the World Cup.
Of course, there was instances as tough at the World Cup.
No. No, we never hear nobody in the World Cup with no monkey chanting at the
I
stand.
don't think it's monkey chant, but there was a World Cup game that there was on disturbance. Yeah, man, there was one. I don't remember as which one.
But man, is as Kyle said, it's not gonna go away. As whether you're black, it's a Spanish culture, right? You know. Last year I was in Barcelona and I went to renew my Schengen visa, and right when I went into the embassy in a room to do renewal, there were like 13 of us there, but then a big group of foreigners came in. You know, the two of us, the two black person reach, and being stiff in the line. They said they are emergency, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go on the back of hold a seat, right? Another line come again and run up, then they call you, right? Like they're asking how long you gonna be in Barcelona for? I'm like, it should be 2 weeks, but tomorrow I'm get the hell out of here. But they say I don't even like Spain. So the only thing I like is Spain. So,
Yeah.
just me being pissed off now, because being there as a black man in the line before, but then they take you and put you at the back of the line, and another group come in again. So it's for me, it's a traditional thing for them. I always tell a person that Spaniards, right, the original Spaniards, they don't like nobody unless they're from their country.
Listen, especially for Spain, there are certain nations I don't think, especially when I think about what this or the Spanish slave people, yeah, they were highly involved in slavery to be now calling using these things. I have a serious issue with it. But we have Brian on the phone. Again, he's driving. He says he wants to buy the channel, but the people say that he can't buy the channel unless he comes out of his car, because you can't run the channel from your car. Brian, are you still in your car, sir?
Which brand?
Mine. Good afternoon. I'm at home, sir. I'm not in the car. but back to the greater point. What I'm saying to you is, you see, I heard you say that sometimes the players can leave and go and take less money. But you saw what not Salah, what's his name? Mane was able to do for his country or his village where he came from.
Yes.
So what if he was being abused and he left and went to a lesser league to earn less money? You think he would be able to impact so many lives that he did while he was earning those big bucks at Liverpool?
Let me you want me to answer you? I believe if Vinicius Jr. leaves and go to Arsenal, Manchester City, that he would be getting close to what he's getting in Spain. I think certain players the big players can afford to do that. Remember, I'm saying, there should be a clause in your contract that says where it is not being dealt with by the league, you have that option. Now, some players will stay, but you should be allowed to leave. I don't think if Vinicius Jr. leaves, he couldn't go to PSG and get the same money. I think he would be earning the same amount of money.
But you have practice so that rule would work for some and don't work for some, because the poor ballers then can't leave.
Every player is a Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
Well, but you have the option. You have to choose. All I'm saying is that you have a choice.
Yeah,
do I take money and be called a monkey, or do I get less money and not be called a monkey? That's your choice.
But money is what I'm saying. What about what I'm saying? What about the players who are equally as black and don't have the statue as Vinicius Jr. or another black player who is of this standard?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That same player has a choice. All right, I want the money to, according to you, help my village, so you can call me monkey. I am going to stay. But he has the option that he says, listen, I don't want your money, even if my village don't get anything from me, so I am leaving. He should have that option. So I am not saying that they have to stay or leave, but there should be a clause in it. So I want the brain drain, man.
They say for monkey or monkey money. Brain drain, that the man don't get monkey money, that get enough money.
So here's what Brian gone. Because S technique, Skip is saying what I'm saying. When a player does something, right, bring the club into disrepute, for example, the club can make it sing null and void.
Yes,
So
but it's not the club to the player anything in this instance.
I
Real
understand.
Madrid come out and defend him, venomously,
Real Madrid, or was it his teammates first? It was some of his.
Real
No,
Madrid
it was
released
And
statements.
the club came out on the coach and fellow players.
afterwards. It was the players who came out first. It
Well, they
wasn't the
were
club.
no, I see a statement to the
I
club
saw the
defending
club.
him.
I believe that the club didn't realize that Vinicius took it so seriously until all players from all over start getting involved. Then Real Madrid put out something. I think from the incident happened, they should have spoken. La Liga in and of itself has not acted strongly and swiftly enough where these things are concerned. It's not the first player who have had this issue.
No.
And I think,
That's true. No, it's not the first player.
And he won't be the last.
Exactly.
He won't be the last.
Well, nobody now. But me not thinking of it.
No, but man is, we just have to be honest where you coming from. I said this is something that is prevalent in the country. So for the football league, I look at it. There are persons that were living in Madrid. They don't consider the people from Bas as Spanish. They don't consider the Catalonians as Spaniards. So it's there overall.
Well, the Catalonians, it is documented that the Catalonians want to separate themselves from Spain. Remember that's documented.
So that's another thing again. So remember, there are persons who are in Madrid and the rest of Spain. Say,
you know what is funny, Marlon? All right. When you are overseas working, who is responsible for the safety of your work environment? Is it the customers or is it the person who employ you?
Person who employ you.
Then Real Madrid has a responsibility.
Yes.
To provide a safe working space for their players.
But what you call safe?
Where if the man say don't want to be called no monkey because it has
no, but that are words. So make a division if his words are
physical abuse is just as bad as verbal abuse. I don't agree with people.
But he's not being abused by the club like that. It's not the club,
But the club is not. No, if I work at one of these fast food places,
yes,
and people are coming in every day telling me about my mother and father, they will put up a sign that says no indecent language allowed. And if you come and do that, you will not be allowed in our. So
but they must still tell you about your mother and your father when you don't serve them. So you're resigning.
We can't agree.
Remember the man is. Remember now. It's our fans. It's away game now. If it was a home game now, Madrid could come and say, okay, guess what?
Oh.
Barcelona, this group of fans that was in this section, we're gonna ban them, right? And it's an away game, so they have to meet with the club and say, guess what? This was happening and we don't support it. But as I said, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be the same way.
And just like what he's saying,
just speak about finding them.
No, I'm saying it's not. You see, people believe it's a football issue. It's not a football issue as Marlon is trying to make out. It's not a football issue. People are people. People are people, and so them believe in their normal life. So then just come and act out them fantasy at the match. But man is still here? Hello? Stuck.
It's like it freeze up.
Yeah, it looked like
it. But Mr. Speed, as I say, it's something that is culturalistic towards them.
Yes.
It's like me and say, come we are going to a football game. I will say my brother say, come, he's not a football fan. And him just go to the stadium and must say it's an idiot to do on the field. Right? And he start off. And that's how it is at times. That's why that's the good thing about it there. When you go to a game there, right? You have the visitor spectator who come in. You have a regular fans, season ticket holder, right?
Box holder.
Person who just show up and come to a game, they can pinpoint you. That's a good. It's not like us here. We just go to a game and we just say, yeah, we hold a seat. That's how we tell a person. Whenever you go in your ticket number, it show your state, so they can pinpoint who was in that region there, who was being disruptive.
So I just wanted to answer Red Cross and some people. Yes, the only place I don't think I've ever been is in Australia. So I've gone, and even somebody was telling me that I should go to Europe. I was in Europe for 6 weeks last year, and I'm going back 2 times this year. So I've been to Europe and I've been to all those places. Italy, I know racism. I know to avoid it too, and I try my best to avoid it. I don't believe for 1 minute that I am supporting racism. I'm not. I'm just saying in everything you have to be practical. So if your employer treats you good, give you a pay on time, look out for your family. You don't. I mean, when you go to these big clubs and you're a big player, they actually assign somebody for your welfare. If you anything you want, the person make sure you get. They go look the house for you. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just have to say yes. They do everything for you and they treat you really good. And somebody who is against your club start to call your names and all of those things. You don't want to leave the people that treat you good. I mean, it's everywhere. In Jamaica, there is a rule that I've never seen used. There's actually a rule in Jamaica football, rules and regulations, that actually says that if people abuse you like how they abuse a referee, the teams will be fined. I think it's 250,000, some serious fines. And there are some cases to that they say that the captain of the team take the brunt, that is the captain of the home team take the brunt of the fines. Or if it's somebody on the bench and they can identify how the coach take the brunt. Or the referee has opportunity to stop the game and show offenders who abuse, not just them, but even abuse other players, coaches, everything. It's just that there's no will in Jamaica, although those rules exist in the regs, to enforce them. So people just do whatever they want to do. So all I'm saying is that it is not, you know when you go to a match and somebody start talk when the game start, you know the old saying, fools talk a lot, cowards say nothing, but a wise man listen. So what is happening is that in our case, we have some fools in the we go at the match and just cuss everybody, cuss the referee, cuss the coach, cuss the player, then cuss everybody. I mean, you know he's a fool that we just talk from the match start. Nobody wants to hear him, but because you have so much cowards in the stands, we say, oh, shut up your mouth, man, we'll come for watch a match. Why you're talking? Nobody say anything, so him continue. And the authorities, them can use the rules against the teams and the spectator, everybody, to make sure say the place gets civil, and they don't do it. So this is, and I'm sure if you check Spain rules and the regulation, there's rules and regulation against people doing these things. Nobody does not enforce it, and that is why people continue to behave like this. And it happened here, and it happened everywhere in the world.
Because even a couple years back in Germany, when the South African players coming in, I think the last incident, I think it was Wolfsburg. What the club was fined for it.
Yeah.
And no, you don't hear nobody crying about racism in Germany.
Right. So if they keep on at it and stamp out every little incident, it will go eventually. I mean, if you can identify, say, it's a Valencia fans without any doubt, because I'm sure they have television footage, etc., and they hit them hard, even as you say, Valencia will now start to try and ban this person from even coming to their matches, or else them play in an empty stadium. So these things can be stamped out, As I tell you, the only reason why it's not stamped out is because the authorities don't want to stamp it out, and the clubs don't want to stamp it out because the clubs are say, boy, I'm going to lose 2 fees or 3 admission fee or 4 admission fee. I'm having friends of mine and boycott me. And that's the only reason why they don't stamp it out. As I say again, it's just economics. You can't stamp out. If them
but even that was a speed. I remember, I think before the pandemic, I think Getafe got a 3-game match ban when there was a derby match they were playing, and I think the away fans got into a big tussle, right, in the away section. Went over to I don't remember who they were playing, but it was a derby match, and they got a 3-match ban, no fans.
Right, but and even remember when there was this stampede with Liverpool at the Euro match. Of 5 years, every English club getting it. Remember that them ban them from European competition for 5 years or something like that. I think there was a ban when there was a stamp.
As man is was saying, you know what? International football, like the time when England in the National League, England was playing Hungary, and they were making those racist slur and just that. You notice the national team, they got two home games without fans.
There you go.
But man, it's more easier for you to ban the national team than the club.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I guess so. When me come here, I come play. Me don't know say your fans them. The English fan now go out there a boo Sterling and Saka and the whole of them out there. We know say the home. Remember saying no, the amount of English fan was there. You could have basically pink by the home fans.
No, so that's a good idea. That's a good idea, man. What FIFA probably should do then is to say, listen, countries in your Premier League clean up the rest this thing we have, right? Yeah. And if the country don't clean it up, then take it out by the national team. That's a very good idea.
No, I can't agree with that.
You see? But you want to take points from the team, though.
No, because the national teams normally sanction the nation already. The club teams, I think, allowed because of the heap of money allowed in club football. So remember now, it's not like in Jamaica, you know. And you know this, Marlon, when you buy a ticket for watch Barcelona, you either buy a away ticket or a home ticket with a number. They have cameras. So these people know where these things are coming from. They can identify and find the individuals and know, was this an away fan? Was this a Madrid fan? They basically know them.
Yes.
They know them.
You also have seats in the center for neutral spectators.
Yes. So management, if
you're not going to get them Sunday from the neutral
management. If me say as FIFA said,
it is what they call what you call them, the ultra fans. Those sounds, you know the ones, so you can sanction. But let me ask you this: people understand this. I also believe that the people who go to our games and tell like I was watching a JPL, the Lynx Cup game. Yo, for the end, when Dumby Holland play, for the entire second half, something when we hear the man in the background, listen, that fan should not be allowed to any game.
And I was discussing when the race is white.
It's logic. No, it's not joke. You know that Monday evening is the same thing. But I went and sit 144. And there's two men in front of me. That's straight true. Both games. And they beat the two side.
Right. So I was telling man, when you wasn't there, see, in Jamaica regulation, we actually have laws against abusing people in the area. And you have never heard a club being brought up for their fans doing things like that. Remember, the referee can stop the game and choke the fans to you. Right? So the person disrespect the referee the whole game, disrespect the team, disrespect the coaches from either side, and yet still the referee don't stop the game and throw him out, which I think they should do, because it starts to send a culture change, and I think the fine is about $250,000 if a team members are found guilty of certain things. There's even a rule that talks about if you can't identify who, you take it out on the captain. And if you can identify who from the technical staff is the coach, the head coach is the person who them sanction, you know. So all of those things are in place, you know. We just never ever enforce none of the rules because we're afraid. We're just coward. That's the problem.
Peso, you're going to tell me that I'm not saying overseas don't do worse, you know. What I'm telling you is that the man right through the game, a gunshot, this if you get their head, dirty girl,
as a matter of fact, I mean that they are cuss, and that's why I put up the 4 and say, oh, a 4 yard in my youth.
Listen, it is wrong.
Cost me the whole match.
I believe, because here's the thing. What I find is that when the things are said to players, yet people dare not go into stadium, in those big stadium, and refer to a player as in their sexuality.
No, because, man, them do it too, man. Them do it sometimes. The player make a mistake. I've heard them.
You know what?
You hear them.
In internet, you never hear them thing there, because if you never hear them say, the player saying vex because people in the stand I call him gay or anything like that. If that ever happened, I'm telling you that sanctions and fine will happen immediately. So I want to know why the action against the sexual stuff is so strong, but when it comes on to racism, just work with it because you're getting your money.
No, the management, where you get that from? That is that if you come to a match, it's more that man a course the player and spectator and coaches. Me get enough of that too. So me can't go say that is not true. Then cost you about everything they can find for cost you about. Then cost them want to play when them player not play good. You have some people who come a match just for quarrel and then start cost from the match, start till the match end.
But I am telling you, there are some people that you should not. What are in Jamaica? Look at how our Jamaican culture is. A man come there and say, "Yo, hey, you see your referee? It's when the game done. Don't come through the gate." Why?
So why the referee make him stay at the game in the stadium?
The first thing, the referee stops the game. If you have on a Mount Pleasant shirt, he's identified. You see, the police take him out of the stadium. You see, if he don't want to come out, I believe Mount Pleasant loses the point right away.
No, you can't do that. With Mount Pleasant man, then support the man kind of mad. Nobody support the man kind of mad.
I've been that much at Jackson and happened already.
You can't allow mad people again, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
This is people's life at risk. You have to create a safe and
mad people come again every day.
But I'm going to tell you, mad people come. Hold on there. I'll take a call here. Do I talk to Mr. Speed and Marlon? Come in and know what I'm going to say. You want some
man is man.
Yes.
Man is man. Now you see where I tell you about the gun finger and the abuse that go on at JPL games, how Jamaica needs to fix it. First of all, it needs to be, I think last time I was at a match at Draxall, it's announced over the PA system that you shouldn't abuse the players and people in the stands. It's not the sole responsibility of the referee at the match to have fans put out. There is security and police and the match personnel, the match commissioner at the game, who can discreetly say to security, please remove that fan. And security and the police should take care of it. Because just like how you said, man, talk about they are a point gun finger at the referee. We are going to do this after the match. No, you see the problem.
No, after live do it because Rob Simmons says, but we have bad people at the show all the time. I don't understand it. But go ahead, yeah.
Because this is the thing with for example, the JPL trying to become more marketable. If you listen to the JPL on Sportsmax on CBM TV, just like this, all you heard was a dumbbell holding man costing the whole match for the entire world to hear at the Lynx Cup match. And nobody in security, nobody in the stadium management walked over and said, "Sir, you need to leave, you need to decease or leave the match." It's not the referee's job to go and do that. That needs to be stadium management. If you want your product to improve.
But Carla, why the referee could do it, you see, is because the abuse was at the assistant referee. So I would say it could have affected her performance. The call that he was asking about, one of my coaches went into the truck because he thought it was an offside. This last goal was offside. He went into the truck. And it wasn't offside. I thought she was brilliant to get it right. Because I also thought it was offside. But when you go back and look on the tape, no, she get it right. The guy never, as a matter of fact, he never even close. It's just the timing of the run make it look so far ahead. So again, in that instance, I think him should have protect her and tell them to take him out of the stadium, even for 5 minutes left.
So my question, was there not security at Sabina Park?
No, it was at stadium. Yes, there was security, but I'm saying if look here, everybody have to work together. Now it can't be just one person. That's all I'm saying. But whosoever hear it, them have to just work.
Yeah. Let me ask this, Marlon. You have watched games in Europe. What is the treatment like referee from this stand in comparison to Jamaica?
Marlins.
Yes, you get tossed. I was at a Watford match and see a man get walked up the stairs.
Ref a football game or coach? It's totally different, man. It's total. Remember now. Remember, Europe and right persons are going to a game. They're liars, supporters, right? They referee decision, but you're not gonna if fans abuse the referee. Yes, you hear a sound, but Jamaica referee when they go through it, no, man.
That's
Being a
I don't
Jamaica.
think people in Europe go through what the Jamaican referee go through.
Listen, me. If you take any of this big referee from Europe and bring here, South America, and bring here to referee JPL game, if they understand what is going on, they probably walk off the field. Jamaican referee and coach get the most beat there.
True, man. Unless we start like.
Agreed.
Unless we start, because look here, I mean, some of our us the coaches to behave bad enough. So it have to be an all-round effort to take care of all aspect of this scourge that is happening. Because some of the time when the coach reaction, it rile up the madman them when I stands. Right? So if the coach keep on management and say like, then the rest other people rile up. So everybody have a responsibility to clean up the sport and make it better. We rank 117 in the world, 170. And it's not because of the talent we have, because I've seen other league we rank above us. Our quality even better. But we're not modern yet. We still like.
Yeah, and why the broadcast don't have, because like I don't hear the fans when I watch like EPL. I don't hear like, I'm very sure fans are there cussing bad word too.
Them remember say them have a 10-second delay and then clean it up. That not come true. That's
So
why
why
I
we
say we're not
can't
modern.
have a delay with our thing? Because listen, like Rob
Because it's the majority of the crowd. The majority of the crowd is cussing.
no, Dennis, I think the same thing happening in other places, but you don't hear it coming through.
They don't hear it. But
man,
also,
remember this, where the broadcast is coming from and the mics are in the stadium, right? And look at the game. Remember the commentators sometimes they're right by the sidelines. So on the mics the mics are right in the stands. So even when the crowd is there, right? In the JP game, I'm on the defense. I want to start.
I'll lead up on the fence. Yeah, I'll lead up on the fence.
When they hold the mic and start beat out.
I think they have broadcast areas, like they have a broadcast box probably away from the fans. I think maybe that is the reason why we get so much, because Mr. Speed, I tell you, it don't sound good.
No, but even some of the time when I see where them put the mic to, them put the mics beside the bench. So what you expect if you put the mic beside the bench? You know,
even the game on it, when I mic the bench, one of them I the go to court the watch and the next one I battle. So the one of their color flag, there's anything that come from the stand you hear it.
Absolutely. Question for you, man, it's better, Mr. Speed. When was the last time you heard singing and the fans in the stands in JPL singing and supporting their teams?
No, our fans don't know a song.
What kind of question right there?
And we can't sing song back.
No, we have sound system that play in the breaks.
Our fans like put it this way, you'll have clubs overseas in seriousness will have like teams songs for their team that they sing in certain instances, but generally no.
But Mr. Speed, the fan groups create that. It's creativity. The fans, I've been to this. The fans group create the songs. Not tell me Jamaicans are creative. Can't do that. Same thing.
Yeah, they can. But the song where the song where them want to sing. For instance, if say two rival team are play and one score a goal, you don't know this. Them not go want to sing a song where you think is appropriate. The song where them go sing, you probably don't want to hear it because you're going to hear how much gunshot the next team to get on. And you know, them not going to even sing something like, you know, them go like, I know them alone run things, you know, them nice little song, them not going to sing those. The song where them are going to sing, you probably don't want those in the mic either. So I think we don't reach that maturity yet. And as I said before, it's not because of the quality of the league where we rank so low. Is because of the rest of things them run the organization.
I think Harbourview have a band. They have like some drummers and stuff.
Yeah,
Cheerlead.
who lead the songs, and them of them people who lead.
And then
this.
let me tell you this, Dwight. When you do a game and your team all lose and man they beside you, the man they tell man, yo, move from yo, move from us with the drum organized. You understand me? Jamaica, I'm telling you, they will tell the drum people them to pack up the drum and move from your side and play no drum.
Man, the sponsors and the sponsors of the league can create an award for a best home environment, most festive home environment, and reward it. If you incentivize it, the creativity will come.
All right, well, but what I can tell you, I've been even at Champs, and I see people, I tell people stop the heap of drumming thing, and they're doing what you call Mexican wave, and them, their team, I mean Mexican wave reach where Calabar there, and that turn Mexican calm sea.
They don't.
Somebody not stand up. so Jamaica is very, it's very different.
No, but compare the vibes that camp, which I've been to the vibes at a football game. Champs nice. You hear some singing. Them a woo. Them a pull on the relay team. It's an experience. You catch a vibes there. Football match, you now catch that. Pure
no, but I think the difference is that you might think that those teams overseas, there's somebody who's leading the singing, It's not just happen by chance, There's like the band is there and they have some people who strike up the right song. So remember, it's not the same song they sing all the time. If you look at when them don't like a manager, them start sing, you're getting fired in the morning. I mean, them have them song for their occasions and it's somebody lead it. It doesn't just happen like
so
that.
So Mr. Speed, what you're trying to say is Mr. Speed, what you're trying to say by this weekend Cavalier going to have a song leader and sing a match? Is that what I'm here?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what those organized clubs do. There's the fans who organize it.
Cavalier is the most organized club in the JPL. Come on, no.
Yeah,
song leader must be there.
When I reach this yet.
Don't get it. Want to have the youngest team in a CONCACAF. I don't try to tell me you can't find song leader. Find one to Barbados.
Find the drummers.
Respect.
All right, do it. I'll see you next one. The reason we're not singing is because clubs do not have organized fan base. Richard Spirit said Jamaica go sing copper shot in a side.
This I can say still from the two games of Savannah that have been, right?
Yeah.
I do different because the four teams fans mix up all over the place, right? I think they're more outnumbered by us, more Pleasant fan. But there was no incident, and I can say
I think you mentioned that, yeah.
There's no incident. So whether a man did across the referee or across the coach, every coach get beaten. Every coach get beaten, right? But as I can say, still the fans were there because at the end of the day, don't be holding fans. So guess what? We're supporting Arnett next week. Right? Come on, we're supporting Arnett. So put more fans than them Arnett them support cause, right? So it was a good vibe.
More fans are don't be holding fans.
Huh? No, Portmore fans came to support Dumby Hold and Portmore United team came to support Dumby. Because they said that in their mind they said that one person let you with Dumby. So they were there supporting. So now the Dumby Hold fans, I guess what
Oh. All right. This one says, Mr. Speed, what community Cavaliers represent?
Which community? We are United Nation.
What I'll say though is that is there also a place for Jamaican, even in our music, we are very expressive. And so maybe nothing is wrong with what the fans do. It's just because it is if it were in standard English, it probably would sound, if the same words were used and it was in the Queen's English, people probably wouldn't have any problems.
No, abuse is abuse. And then they do abuse some people.
No, but isn't that part of it too, that sometimes we give it a hard time because when Jamaican like what we call a bad word, it sounds so it look like it come with all fierceness and anger, bitterness, like the bad word itself can kill you. when other persons use the same bad word, it don't come across that way. It come across more mild, like it's all a friendship thing. But when a Jamaican use a bad word, it's like, yo, you ever hear them people that cuss you? Yo, them people that cuss you. You know, when Jamaican talk like that, they make it sound like when people use certain language, the word itself.
So the word a lick.
Yeah, like in the thing, I can't say.
A serious thing, so I think it's our tone of voice and of way of speaking, right? So it's a serious thing.
All right, look at what Rob Smith. Robbie Smith says, and the next person may say the same thing, in England, Hey, Sterling, why don't you let go of the flipping ball? But when a Jamaican tell if you let go of the ball,
So here's a difference, man. Here's a difference. When an Englishman cussing you, and some other he's cussing more the action that you see what you just said, Lego and him explain. The person in a Jamaica most time don't know the difference between cussing you and your action, You just cuss you. So then it get personal. So and that's what I find. It's not them say, yo, you're the worst. You know, a man could say, bro, you're the worst coach I've ever seen. A man could come to a coach and say, coach, you're the worst coach I've ever seen. And that is just as bad, but it's a different thing from where Jamaican will tell you.
Listen, Speed is getting fired in the morning because he has been burned hard. What's with you do, Mrs.?
You ask them fire me for what? That's what I'm ask you, fire me for what? You ask you, fire me. I'm the only coach that can win 2 titles this year. Sorry, 3 titles. Why would you fire me?
What man is, when I sit and look and analyze what referee and coaches go through in Jamaica by spectators, I don't know what.
But that's what Pesa keep on saying, that the people in EPL do worse things. But I don't think Pesa experience.
Come on,
Pesa, man.
It's no, right? I've watched EPL game, right? I watched Portuguese league, and the fans, yes, the mother miss up and everything, right? And we always say, because even Monday when the Mo President team was named, and I started Instagram and I show people in the stands, they start beating Tapa because everybody was saying I should be in the team. Myself said it, but the guy came out and had a good game.
Who shouldn't be in the team?
Dyer.
Oh, Dyer is what Dyer brings to the team is that he's the most rapid defender.
You know why you're not trying about Mount Pleasant?
He's the most rapid defender you have.
No, man, you want to try to come set up
the team. Man.
Hey, no listen to nothing West speaks about Mount Pleasant. You might try use psychology.
You know what I say? I must say this on your program because unlike you and some people, last night we had an issue with the National Under 15 team, and I called the owner, Mr. Bull. I asked him if he could host them for me for a couple of days, and he agreed. So I have to big up Mount Pleasant still. No care what you want to say. It's a good thing.
Yeah, we know some Mount Pleasant. Listen,
it's a good thing in football. It's a good thing Mount Pleasant in football. I don't know what the Premier League would be like if Mount Pleasant wasn't in the football.
I am telling that, so the people then just fly the gate and let
No, 2 different things we are talking about. No, but you want me to talk about 2 different things. But no, Mount Pleasant is.
We have a caller. Welcome to I'm Sure Sports.
Are you on call?
Oh, yeah. With a semi-final match. See, I said the under 15 team. That's very good though that they did that.
Yeah, man, and they're going to give us all a practice game. So I mean, Mount Pleasant is one of my favorite teams, no doubt about it. I mean, when we reach on the field, is a different thing.
So we're meeting a final.
Well, I wish I'm open to reach there.
Hey, me tell him already. Say Mount Pleasant is winning the JPL this season. Me, I tell him that.
A long time you tell me that still.
Yeah, but let me
ask.
5
years ago.
Yeah, because we still have to close out. Are the Reggae Boyz the best team in the Caribbean still? Are we still the number 1 team in the Caribbean?
I think so.
Marlon? What do you think? Are you think
Yeah.
other nations are ahead of us?
No, man, no, we are still the number one, right? Right? For me, we're basically fighting for third and fourth with in CONCACAF. For fourth place in CONCACAF with Costa Rica and Panama.
Panama. Okay.
In the Caribbean, with all the other teams that are getting still, we are still way ahead of them. But we cannot really be complacent and sit and be relaxed. Because
All right.
football is
No,
really
in CONCACAF ranking, though, you know, 80 is ahead of us. Then.
that's index ranking, but I'm talking in general. The
But
fourth
we are
place.
ahead of them on the FIFA
Yeah,
ranking.
FIFA ranking, right? Yeah. But let me tell you why. I mean, I don't think we have anything to fear. As far as I know, because Jamaica actually have the best, have the what you call it, upside. When you look at our programs and where we are, I think we have the best upside. We can go much further than where we are, high up than where we are, and that is why I'm not worried.
I also believe that we have the largest pool of players. I think of all the other Caribbean nations, we have the largest pool of players at all levels to select from.
Yeah, in our level, but I think at the senior level, Suriname is up there with us.
Now, when you talk to pool, no, why you say that?
At the senior team, level,
No, I hear that. You know, funny enough, people always keep on talking about Suriname. I just believe Suriname is just overhyped and overrated. I don't see Suriname being our challenge. As a matter of fact, I am more afraid of Trinidad and Tobago once they get their thing in order to come and challenge us in the Caribbean, because they are ahead of us in terms of coaches, qualified coaching, and we tend not to understand what that means. Their population is not as big, so I expect us to overhaul them eventually. I mean, to stay ahead of them. But to me, they are our biggest threat. Suriname to me is no threat, because when I look at the players who play for Suriname, even although they can draw from the mother country, is really the older player who is interested in coming, and they tend to flatter to deceive, just like the last World Cup qualifiers. So I'm not worried about it.
But
But you know, they've changed the policy though.
it's a big difference now,
Yeah,
right?
because they changed the policy and they're giving them some thing their visa, sports visa,
Visa, so
which has allowed the younger players to come over as well. But
Yeah,
like
but
for me, the team that I fear the most in the Caribbean still is Haiti.
well, is here to Curacao and I just speak Trinidad. I think Trinidad, if they're gonna fall behind, because these two teams, Curacao and what they have in Holland to recruit from, right? That's where they're very, very dangerous. Even the Trinidad coach came out and said it. He said they don't have the talent as what Suriname and Jamaica and Curacao have out there to recruit.
Suriname is ranked 114 in the world. So even with all of those people for the last 4 years, they have not made any inroads, right? Trinidad and Tobago is ranked 104. It's probably the lowest ranking for a long while ever. Jamaica is ranked 63, and Haiti is ranked 87. The truth is that, to me, Jamaica can rank in the top 30. That's what I always say. If we do everything right, we don't fight, we cooperate, we don't strike every minute for money, and everybody cooperate and we pick up best team.
Hey, Mr. Speedy, if you say strike every minute for money, you must also say, and if we pay the money on time.
True.
As
And
well.
we not strike because we pay the money on time.
There you go.
Right? Then I just believe that Jamaica can be ranking at top 30. I just don't believe anything else based on the talent that we have. And we have some gifts in that nobody's in the world have. We are the fastest human race, fastest country alive, fastest people in the world based on our country. And I just believe that once we figure out a system to use that fits that profile, because as you know, everybody looking for a fast player. So imagine if we have 11 fast player. I think Jamaica will rank in the top 30. And I don't think it's a stretch.
You know what is funny though? Marlon, I I always look at players who can represent Jamaica, right? I find that almost all, like the players that are out there available, a lot of them are just fast wingers, forwards. Like you don't, like very few quality midfielders are out there. You can't find 10 good midfielders,
You find 10 high quality wingers and forward, but they and defender, but there's no midfielders there. Probably in the youth teams they are midfielders, but for the senior team, they're not that much.
Why is it such a hard position to plug? I mean, you talk about probably like even in the EPL, very few teams. Liverpool struggled because they never had one. You understand me? Tottenham lost Bentancur, they struggled. Like, it is such an important. Chelsea never had a good one because Conte was out most of the season. You see what happened? So generally, if you don't have good quality CDM, your team is going to struggle. Manchester United had to invest in Casemiro. Arsenal had Partey and still had to get Jorginho. City had Rodri. And before that, they had the Fernandinho in the middle of the park. You understand what I mean? So when you go through,
and
you look at...
City went out and got a young gem from Argentina so he can be the understudy for Rodri as well.
When you go to Real Madrid have too many Camavinga, Toni Kroos, like teams do that, which is why I think Bayern Munich struggled because they don't. I think Kimmich is it one of their CDMs?
Yeah, overworked now.
Overworked. So why is it so hard to find quality CDM? Right. Well, Manchester City have Calvin Phillips as well. Well, welcome to the show. This is none other than the man, Chris. What I want?
Yeah, blessed love, man, is man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Blessed Mr. Speed. Blessed Marlon. Yeah, man, Mr. Speed, I respectfully disagree with you about Suriname. You need to do some research and look at the players that Suriname produced over the years, or Suriname descendants, and look at their players in the diaspora. Marlon is right, man. You get me? We have never produced the kind of players that Suriname produce in their diaspora. I said, man is one of this. Man is one. Let's go over it and run those names by Mr. Speed for me. Okay?
All right. So you're saying that Suriname is a team we should fear, not Haiti?
Suriname and Haiti. Since the former player.
I would say fear. We have to look at Suriname as a fierce opposition because if they have a top coach now, which is well respected, and they have a top assistant coach who was a former assistant coach at Barcelona, who is well respected in the world of football. So if these people, if these coaches can get the players that is in Suriname diaspora that can represent them, they can be one of the best in CONCACAF. And Marlon knows that too. Because it makes no sense run around and lose things without really read, analyze, and research these things before just say they're not a threat.
But that's my opinion. Though. That's my opinion. I said I didn't fear them the most.
The players of Suriname descendants.
Yeah.
I said I didn't fear them the most.
Players that the
No,
world has ever seen.
But Carla, I said I didn't fear them the most.
I don't think he's here, Mr. Yeah, man. All right.
Carla,
all right,
you can listen to what I said. I said.
Fully what I'm talking.
No, I'm not here. I don't think you're hearing each other. So, all right. So, Chris, I'm going to let Mr. Speed respond. All right, and then I'm going to go through the list. Yeah. All right.
First of all, that is Chris's opinion. I said I didn't fear them the most. That's my opinion. So, Chris, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. I have not seen anything from Suriname in the last 4 years. They were touted that they were going to go to the last World Cup. Wasn't everybody touting them that they were the dark horse, and they are in, and I saw the match with them on Canada because I was really looking to see if they would come through, and I saw what happened. I knew what happened. And they were being touted by a lot of people that they were the ones who's going to come through the playoffs and go to the World Cup. They didn't. They flopped. They didn't even reach the playoffs. And it wasn't even the hexagonal round where we only had 6 teams. This time we increased it up. How much team we increased it up to this time?
Yeah.
This time 8. 8? It was 8?
But at the same Canada team went to World Cup.
Yes.
They're the one.
But everybody was saying Suriname was what they were going to do. I remember all the programs. Everybody was on, all the vloggers was Suriname. All I'm saying, that's not where I see my threat for the next 4 years, right? And then the caller can call me back in a 4 year time and we have a discussion again.
All right.
You know the good thing about it?
Because this is
No,
opinion. And everybody
Prince,
is, yeah.
Prince,
Because
you see,
Pamela says he agree.
and
That
I told JD, say, I'm happy that Canada knocked them out. If Canada didn't knock them out, they'd have got players.
Yeah.
And the thing about him now is not the old players are coming out. Most of the players are in their 20s.
That's fine.
I think so. What he's saying is that some of these players in the past could have played for Stanley Menzo, who's a goalkeeper, Michael Vorm, who is a goalkeeper, Kenneth Verma, Michael Reiser, right? Mario Melchior, Frank Rijkaard, Virgil van Dijk, Humphrey.
It's like us saying that I can name you like 10 EPL players in the English Premier League that could have played for Jamaica.
It would be interesting. That's what I was saying. It would be interesting.
Not playing for Jamaica. Look here, let me explain something to some people.
Ian Wright could have played for Jamaica. Kevin Campbell, John Barnes, Sol Campbell, all of those players could have played for Jamaica as well. So it would be interesting to match up it if you go back to that to match up the teams.
Right, and just a fact, even now, we're asking players to play for Jamaica, and them telling us no. Them say them don't know nobody at Jamaica. Jamaica is not their country. Their grandfather might have been a Jamaican, but their father is not. We're having this conversation now with players that people are just calling them name dropping, you know. So of course we know of the pedigree that is out there that could play for different countries, but are they going to play? No, they're not. They have no interest.
I think though, just generally, and we have Soldier on the line, but generally, let me say this. People, we have to, everybody can fear a different person, but what I'll tell you that football has changed. The gap between teams have significantly reduced. So the gap between Jamaica and Mexico and USA has been reduced. The gap between Jamaica and the Suriname and the Haiti and those things, that has also been reduced, right? The gap between the Mexicos and the Spain and those teams, the gap has been really, you can't say, when you talk about who are the powerhouses, the gap is not as wide as it used to be 8 or 10 years ago. But we have Soldier who have known many of the players over the years who could have played for Jamaica. Soldier, what's going on?
Yes. Bless up yourself, bless up Mr.
Hold
Speed.
on, Soldier, because this question, there's a question I just want to, Mr. Speed, there's this question.
No answer question because me listen to Mr. Speed and say, you hear me?
Yeah, man,
Mr. Speed is right. No, Mr. Speed is right, and me back Mr. Speed on that, because you cannot talk about player, Van Dijk and those players not come. If you come, Rashford could play for Jamaica too. So you could say all them things to Mr. Speed, right? I agree with Mr. Speed. Mr. Speed, I said to the caller, I said to you, if more dig up people don't cannot pay for Suriname and paying for next country. If Jamaica is it, Ashley Young, all the guy couldn't play for Jamaica, same way.
James could have kept for Jamaica. You have Luther Blissett, Mark Wright, Ian Wright.
Mr. Speed, Mr. Speed, I agree with you everything what you say, Mr. Speed. You're right. I don't fear them neither, because you cannot people can represent you. I agree with that 100%.
But every nation still doing them thing, you know. So you have to look what the nation. Yeah.
But we are doing our thing to Mannings, man. We are doing our thing to
Mannings.
Yeah.
Why do you think so much young player play against Trinidad?
We're doing our thing, getting young players through.
Yeah. Wait, we come up on the program. If echo, Mr. You understand me, Mr. Speed?
I don't know. But Mr. Speed must speak the right thing. And the right values, he must speak not nothing wrong. So you must speak the right thing. No, say that.
So looking at the list, looking at the list and see the names that we could have played for Jamaica. See if I get help, I know the call alone help me.
It's a 50-50, but what I'm saying now, what they are getting now, right? Like before, players were coming at the back end, because most of the players that they brought in the last time, right? They try something and it worked out. So now they see that there's 6 teams in the World Cup and 2 for the players, but they think they have a chance. So bringing in Winter now and the assistant coming in, they know they can get most of the young players to come. right? When you have somebody who was being around and proving themselves. The last time it was like a hurricane thing. But the thing about it, they bring a culturized football to play. So it's one system, so they play will come and fitting because it's the same those systems style of football they're gonna play.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back from John Barnes and before and see some of the players who played for England who could have played for Jamaica. Some may have been in England and never even made the English team, but could have played.
So then you'd have put them. So you'd have match them up against the Suriname team. Or could have played for Suriname too.
Well, it's the other thing is that it is different eras because some of the players never played in this. So like it's not like Van Dijk and Ruud Gullit would have played in the same time or Frank Wright. Like they wouldn't play because that is the next thing too. Though they're all names, they would not have played in the. But I think both nations, if they were doing this, yeah.
A lot of talented players out there.
Lot of talented players. But right now, what I would say right now.
Remember play back in those days, like Luther Blissett and those guys who couldn't play for Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Remember all those guys from Watford.
Right now, what I'm saying though is that I believe that Jamaica, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, have a greater pool of players around the globe than any of the other Caribbean nations, in my opinion. But we have Formula who has giant soldiers, so let's see what he has to say. But we need to take seriously. We need to take seriously what some of those other teams what they're doing. Not that we fear them, but Formula, what say you? Because I know once you hear Suriname, you're gonna say you agree.
Good day, gentlemen. Good day. Good day. But the debate's so sweet. Me have to jump on for 5 minutes, My office said this because boy, me disagree, man. Me agree with Marlon and me disagree with Rodal Speed. I'm not staying long, but my office said this, people. My office said this. In my humble opinion, Suriname is the real threat. Seeing, I agree that yes, we have the bigger player pool to select from, right? That is true. Nobody now. No, I don't think anybody would disagree with that right now. Seeing, but Suriname has a massive player pool to select from. I've actually done research into this, right? They have a number of players playing in the Dutch Eredivisie that is eligible to play for them. A number of players they have players playing in France that are eligible to play for them, in Ligue 1, in the Bundesliga that are eligible to play for them. I think from what I've seen, they have the second largest pool from what I have seen to select from where Caribbean teams are concerned.
Second largest behind Jamaica, that we say no.
Yeah, I agree. I agree from that standpoint. But where I disagree with man like Rodal Speed is when he doesn't think that they are the biggest threat to Jamaica and the Caribbean. We can't agree with that, brother. When you look for upside in a brother.
You're going to say, but Formula, the man say
and he has a right to his opinion, but me have a right to disagree with him opinion too.
Formula. No, why you call me back? You see when the World Cup qualifier in hockey this time for 2026, when you call me back, nobody no company program we talk about all the things.
No, man, that's too far. What about the Gold Cup?
Me I give them a chance to call all of the players they want to call. You see me as a reasonable person in my situation. I give him a chance to call all of we want to call for the next 2 years. Then we talk again.
But here's the thing that a lot of people are missing. Me hear Rodal Speed talking about, what they have done, in the last 2 years and this sort of a thing. What a lot of people are missing with this Suriname team, is that they have the technical ability, to go up against most teams in CONCACAF and do really well, They have the technical ability to match most teams in CONCACAF. I'm telling you, when you look at their squad, when we played them, the last time we played them, if memory serves me right, there were like 7 or 8 of the players, in that Suriname squad, that had won European First Division titles as starters for them club, man who win Turkey League, man who win Dutch Eredivisie, that sort of a thing. The Greek League with Thessaloniki, right there, and Bizeswar and them ball of that. So they have a lot of technical quality in their team. The problem, however, where a lot of people is missing is that a lot of the players in their squad are old. And that's why they might get beaten in CONCACAF, because when you put all of those old players together, they might thrive individually in their respective club teams. But when you put all of them old players together, other teams are just outrunning them. They don't have the legs to keep up with the teams in CONCACAF right now.
All right.
You see,
So like
when
you
they
agree with me,
when they go on
I
to
did say
attract
that.
young,
So like you agree with me, because I did say that.
yes, but here's the problem now, Sir Speed. Them are go keep on they're attracting better, younger players as time goes
All right.
on, and
Formula,
that
you
are
know
going
that.
to change,
Formula.
boss.
This is me and you now. You know that you and I had the same discussion when we were going to play Nations League. And you remember we had the conversation about they have closed the gap. You remember that? You remember the discussion me and you have? A lot of mercy. We have
Yeah, man.
All right. And I said to you that we were going to get the better of them in the Nations League, which we did, you know.
I agreed.
All right. So I hear you that they are older, they're going to get young. But do you realize that we have also gotten younger and we are getting quality? So we are adding better quality than we had before. Which I think we ignore because no. But this is what I'm saying, for
I agree 100%.
All right. So if I am the only thing we can do, you know, is if we have scientific evidence to prove that the rate of their improvement is faster than our improvement. You have to have scientific proof of that. So let's wait and see in the Gold Cup, because the rate, listen, because I am convinced that Jamaica has improved, I believe, given what we have done in the Gold Cup over the last series, I expect Jamaica to go to the final and win. If Suriname is doing so well, should we then expect, just asking, that Suriname should be in the final with Jamaica? Are they there yet?
Right. So, let me help you. So, in the last Nation League, which is not so far ago, this year, right? Now, this year?
Yeah.
Suriname played us in 2 games. The first game, we were in turmoil with a trainer less than an hour before the match. We decided we're going to play and we draw one of them over there. Then when we come back at Jamaica, we still never trained. We still was in turmoil in those 2 games, and we were able to defeat them and advance. So, I am not saying that they're not a good up-and-coming team. I'm saying for the next World Cup cycle, I don't see them threatening us, and I will not back off from that. And you can't tell me nothing at all. I don't see no evidence, no proof, no improvement, or anything that tells me, knowing what we are doing and going to do, that they'll be able to catch us up before the next World Cup qualifier.
But Mr. Speed, Mr. Speed, since they have came with this renaissance of playing, there's only 3 sides in CONCACAF that has beat them. 4. Costa Rica, right? Mexico, Jamaica, and Canada.
But they haven't played the USA yet. So I think USA will beat them.
Yes. But man is the thing about the man is and this is it. The way they possess the ball and use the ball, that's the problem all CONCACAF team have with them.
But we're talking about that when you see teams that Morocco average possession rate was 34% and then reach a semi-final. Why we keep on talking about possession? That's not the whole game.
Mr. Speed,
it's a major indicator of quality, though.
What?
Well,
like how Spain keep it for 70% and make the second round, and Germany keep it for 70% and make the second round.
All right, we're gonna
stop arguing.
It is a possession is a major indicator of quality, though. To be fair,
when the
possession is
so
a major
winning a game is not an indication of quality.
All right, so let me say
no,
this.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Also, I agree with that 100%.
Let me say this, right? England, where we are getting our players from, the English. So let's go by that. Look where Suriname getting their players from. Let's use that then. Look where Jamaica getting their players from. For the most part, England and Holland. Let's look at both teams. England has done better consistently in the last 4 Euros and last 4 World Cup. I think Holland was in one of the finals. All right? That's one thing. The English clubs, where we're getting our players from, they have done better in Europe than the clubs in Holland.
Oh, you can't use that. You can't use that, Mannings. Mannings, the Dutch leagues are selling you. The English leagues are buying
Here's the
you.
point
You
I'm
can't
making,
use
formula.
that.
So if we are going to
Look at players produced.
So let me give it.
All right.
So hold on. So you're saying that the Holland produces more quality players than England?
I never said that. I never said that.
No, I'm
because
asking you
I
what you mean
don't have the
players produce.
statistical. I don't have the data to say that. But what
So
I'm
what do you
saying
mean
is
by-
that you
no.
can't. They have produced a lot of quality players in the Netherlands. As a matter of fact,
Ajax, formula.
The last
Take away
stats
from
I
my
heard.
point. No, but that don't take away from a
What
point.
take
though.
away from what point?
The point I am making is
No,
that
what I'm saying is that you can't use that money. When you say that the league is better, yes, true. But you
No, I
can't
did not
use
say
that
I did not
because
say
one
that though,
produces,
formula.
one
No,
buys.
I did not say that. Formula, I didn't say that though.
Yes,
I said that.
No, you said the players perform better. You said
No,
the
I
clubs
did not say that.
perform
I
better
didn't
in
say that.
Europe.
I did not. Right. I said the clubs. When I look at it consistently, the England national team, where we are getting players from, has performed better in the Euros and the World Cup. I did mention to you that there was one World Cup that Holland went to. Then I said to you, in terms of the clubs in England have performed consistently better, right? So my point is,
So that means that they are better. They are of better quality.
No, man. So listen. So let me make the point. So if I'm going to believe that Suriname is going to get very good because you're getting players from Holland, which is right. They are going to get good. I must also believe that Jamaica is going to get very good because you're getting players from England. That is the point I'm making.
Yeah, but Mannings.
That's good.
I don't think you really get my point in the Mannings. I am not saying, that Suriname is going to topple us, I am not saying Suriname is going to topple us. That is not what I am. I've never made that argument ever.
Okay.
Where I disagreed was the biggest threat. I never said they were going to topple us. I said they are our biggest threat in the Caribbean because of their potential upside. I don't see any other team in the Caribbean that has the upside upside in terms of to get better than Suriname.
Let me tell you something.
And I think they're arguably the second best now.
I see Haiti now play no football at Haiti. And the players them now play no football. And then play Jamaica club them in a club football. I'm ball them. Me see Haiti now have no club competition. And the Haiti national team go on a Gold Cup with 10 players. And all USA has struggled to beat them. Brother, may I tell you something?
Yeah, but do they have the upside in diaspora though? The pool.
Mannings, not a Haiti national player in Haiti.
Eh?
Not of the Haitian players in Haiti, though. It's a new set of players they have now still. But
I believe if Haiti get their act together, like they are going to be one of the biggest threat in the entire CONCACAF. That's me.
But do they have the pool that can rival Jamaica or Suriname, though, Mannings? They don't have that. So they have players in the diaspora, and don't get me wrong, but not nearly as big a pool as Suriname or Jamaica.
Famila. This pool we're not talking about and them things there. You remember United States team 2006? Where they reached to the semi-final of the World Cup. Don't Argentina those teams. US and Germany go to play semi-final. And Brazil win the World Cup. England
in 2006?
Quarterfinal soldier, which semi-final, quarterfinal, where US semi-final, quarterfinal.
A quarterfinal, then play Germany. going straight to semi-final.
No,
Them and German.
USA never go semi-final yet, man.
Round of 16, man, because Argentina and Germany play quarterfinal.
Yeah.
All right. You should. Whenever them play. No, generally, when Klinsmann coach it, when Klinsmann coach no Klins, yeah, Klinsmann, no, not Klinsmann. Roddy Vula. When Roddy Vula coach a team, where US reach that year?
Roddy Vula coach US? No,
Roddy Vula coach Germany. So I said, where and US play them? Where US did reach that season?
One thing we know, USA never reached the semi-final of the World Cup.
Them never in the quarterfinals either. In the last 16.
Yeah.
Round of 16, man. 2006 Argentina play Germany and they lose most of 4-2. We reach one penalty when something when
right. That team, that US team that reached there, you reach further than England that year. That US team did have good as the English team? No. See what you look on football, their score done. You can't look on their score because you can't get at most players from their score and a team come out is where you go on the day and do. Is 11 players. Look how Mexico was far ahead of Jamaica. No, Jamaica can go and say when you play Mexico, we can beat Mexico. First time we used to give up, we say, okay, just keep on the score line. No, Jamaica can beat Mexico. So, pan that angle, I agree with Mr. Speed pan that again. When I say, I agree with him pan that again.
Speed fan, you liar.
No liar, but when I say, I agree with him pan that angle, man, no liar.
Yeah, but my boss, the better quality players you have give you a better chance, you know. The better quality players you have increases the degree of likelihood of success. That is just common footballing.
So,
but you have a fair point for family.
Okay. All right. Out of Morocco and Portugal team, which team you say are the better team? If you look at
boss, me agree with your point, you know, agree with your point is what happens on the day that matters. That is true, but a variable at play is also the quality of players.
Oh, yeah, 1930
so all the players them have to go there and believe in themselves. All the players them have to go there and believe in themselves and say, you are 11 players out there on the field, so we can anything them can do, we can do it too.
Yeah, all right. Soldier, listen. Hey,
Soldier, what am I doing? Let's say something to him.
We have a next call. Yeah, go ahead, because people we have to work it. Go ahead, Marlon. Call and mute until Marlon finish, please.
Yeah. What I was saying, as the soldier said, Jamaica is ahead of them, but we can't sit back and relax and feel. So guess what? We have beat them the last couple of times and we are ahead of them, right? Yeah. But guess what? They have an infrastructure they're working with now, right? So we can't get comfortable because guess what? Everybody can't get comfortable and recruit. All the Caribbean teams, they're out there recruiting, right? And they and Curacao, right? There are two teams we can't sleep on. It is more established than them, right? But we can't sleep on them because they have the quality players and the players are coming. You know, it's not like before when the players are Suriname can't stay. But as I said, man, is when they can sell a player, a vision say, guess what? There's 8 spots if I can't go for now. We have 6 spots guarantee, 3 gone already. And there's 3 other guarantee spots and 2 player spots, and they can get players to come over. And they have the coaching staff and the players, right? To come and make nice here. Right? If you look at it in Central America, Costa Rica, I think Costa Rica is gonna go through a big resurgence with the young players coming, but they're not gonna come out at the same time. Honduras is still there trying to find a way. Panama is a more established team. But if I look at it, I have Panama as a 4th best team here because they I guess every player who comes in, they fit into their system, right? So we have to understand Canada is right there, Mexico and US. So the CONCACAF is growing. So we can't really see and take nobody lightly.
True. But I agree now. That's where I think there's a lot of upside for Suriname. We have a call online and then we're going to come back in 4 years' time, according to Mr. Speed.
Not 4 years, 2 years.
2 years' time. But we have a caller. Because people have to go. Caller, welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Miguel, what's going on? Say your piece now.
Yeah, man. Afternoon to the panel for the panelists. You want not a thing you want to address with Formula talk about. Listen, you see, it is good to have a deep pool or access to players. But at the same time, I think the access to players that Jamaica has been benefiting from, especially of late, has been a blessing and a curse. You understand me? Blessing from the perspective, that is self-explanatory. But from the other side also, it's like all of a sudden everybody turned recruiter. And as soon as a man don't have a good game, oh man, change him because we have a better right back round over so. And we have a better left back. So it's like Haiti plays together and they form a team. You understand me? Not just having players running up and down. Because regardless of how skillful the players are, if they cannot get the ball, they cannot demonstrate them skills. And we have seen that in our leg at the World Cup the last time. We have very skillful players, but they cannot get the ball because guess what? They don't have a team. So that is very important also, not just having access to players. And to the point, Haiti has been doing very, very well, given the circumstances that face them all the time. That's all I want to say, brother. Respect.
All right then. All right. So, yeah, respect Miguel. All right. So we're going to close, but Formula. Like me say, I agree with what Formula is saying. What Formula is saying is a very good point. That given what Suriname has, they can cause a lot of damage. But because we have been hearing this for so long about Suriname, I think what people are saying is that they need to see it happen because it in all these years it hasn't, which is also a true point. But they do have some good quality players, and I think Jamaica can match them in terms of quality in recruitment.
Match them? You mean they can match us? Be careful how you talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. They
Okay.
can match
Don't
us.
talk like
So
that.
let me give each of you 2 minutes to close out. People, hit the like button. If you have not done so yet. Famila, go ahead. What say you in the final few?
I see the caller's point, but that's the same thing for every national team. Every national team that plays, if a player don't play well, the fans are, especially if a period of games go by and the player is not doing well, the fans are gonna get up and say, "So one ball over there, so we are play good." Give him a chance. That's true for every national team. So I don't necessarily understand the caller's point from that perspective. I think the problem with us why he has a point, about cohesion, but that's more of a not getting our act together from a structural standpoint and organizing everything and organizing it from earlier on rather than waiting till the last minute to get certain things done. I think that's more the issue. It's not because we have a big pool, across the pond why it is causing a problem with cohesion and getting players together to play over a consistent period of time. But as I said, I just want to make it absolutely clear. Yes, I'm not saying that Suriname will, you know, come and be better than us. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think they are the biggest threat in the Caribbean because I think that they have the biggest upside out of all the teams that I see in the Caribbean. And I think they are improving at an alarming rate. When you look at the Suriname team 5 years ago, the quality versus the quality now. Yes, it has not manifested itself in terms of success as yet, but the team itself, the quality of the team and the quality of the players that are playing for the team. I mean, players are representing Suriname in the last 3 years that were starters in Serie A and the German Bundesliga. So I think the quality of the Suriname team is improving at an alarming rate. It is improving at far greater pace than any other team in the Caribbean outside of Jamaica. And even probably Jamaica, if you look at the jump in quality, you could probably make that argument as well. We have always had very good players in our team relative to the CONCACAF region. Right. So yes, we are attracting more and we're improving. But in terms of the jump in quality where Suriname was to where they are now, in just 3-4 years, It's a huge jump, man, a huge jump. So we have to be mindful of that, in my humble opinion. Look out for dam rep as well, too. Dam rep, people sleep on dam rep, Don't sleep on dam rep.
All right. Sir Speed.
Well, we have to be careful about the trap we're falling into. So, for instance, I want all the Caribbean countries to improve and do extremely well, because if they do, then Jamaica will also remember. Jamaica is not really here to say we want to beat up the Caribbean. We've always done that. Trinidad and Tobago has always done that too. Mexico has always beaten up CONCACAF. But what we really want to happen is for all the teams to improve significantly. We would have to improve significantly too, because that is the only way we can keep ahead of the competition. They force us to improve. So I am welcoming Suriname to go and get every single player they can find. I'm asking Haiti to go and do the same thing, Trinidad to do the same thing, and then force us to improve, because I know we'll still keep ahead of them. What is happening is that Mexico could bully us in the CONCACAF region, but when they step out of the CONCACAF region, they can't beat anybody else. And they have beaten us up consistently for years and believe that they are doing a good thing. So I welcome all improvement, because I want Jamaica to improve so much that when we go on the world stage, we're able to give a good account for ourselves. I want to see us playing the second round of football in some World Cup, whether male or female or youth teams. I want to play in the second round and really have a realistic chance of advancing to even a last eight or a semi-finals before I die. So all of you teams in the Caribbean, build up yourself, come hard at us, so we'll be able to improve, because I know we'll stay ahead of you and move on.
Marlon.
Yeah, man. I was say still the talent level and the teams are getting stronger. I think with the Nation League that was implemented a couple of years back has really led Caribbean football. I think Caribbean football has benefited Caribbean football more and than even the Central American teams. It has benefited Canada the most in CONCACAF, the Nation League. But what we have seen this Suriname team, Curacao, these teams, they start getting quality players. Because remember before, man, is World Cup qualifier, you get knocked out. That's it, you don't play no more football until, right? Caribbean Cup was playing. So I think with the implementation of a Nation League, it has really let CONCACAF football has grown. And I think now that's why we're getting a lot of players coming in from overseas in this team. If you look at a team like Montserrat, who are stuck with lower league English players. So it shows you that with the level of football start playing here, everybody is now there recruiting. So we just have to continue to do what we're doing and ensure that we're there and stay ahead of the pack. Because I think a couple of years back, Curacao was way ahead of Suriname. I know Suriname is very close to them. They're very, very close now. And even the Asian team and Curacao, Curacao, it was way ahead of Curacao, and Curacao caught up to them. So we can't really sleep on this team now. Because quality is out there. And that's why you look at the mighty USA. They're still out there fighting players the same way. They just think they can the Mexican now by taking away a young sensation left back Gomez. Right, he play for Mexico, he play for USA, every year he play for one of them. Every 6 months he play for one of them. So now USA finally got him to play in the senior team. Still does 17 or 18, and he has played for Mexico under 15, under 16, under 17. Right, so we just have to just hold it, take it same and see it at the game. I think the World Cup is really gonna be really something special.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the same thing I use when I speak about Jamaica and Mexico and the USA. I always say to them, listen, people will say, yeah man, of course we can. And I say, until we start beating and dominating Mexico and the USA, we're not close to them. The same thing I'm going to say for other nations. Until I see these nations start beating and dominating Jamaica, I will not change my views. All right? I believe, though, that these teams are improving. I see Jamaica improving. Who is improving faster? I have no evidence. But I will tell you this. There are other, and that's what I'm saying, that because we watch certain leagues and we pay more attention, we don't see what is happening. Like St. Lucia play Nations League and they are one of the only teams to have not lost a game. But we don't pay them any mind because they don't have any big name players. All right? They don't have any big name players. So anybody who don't have any big name players is not a threat. So because we may not know how many Haitian players, for example, playing in the France league, it's not a big threat. All right, and maybe that's our perspective, and we don't know the players from Trinidad. So they're not a big threat. I believe that every team is a threat. If you ask me again, who I fear the most, because it don't matter who we have had for Jamaica, what the Haitians and the Trinidadians are doing. When Jamaica generally plays those teams, they struggle, whatever it is. Even when Jamaica had all players from MLS and they were using domestic players in their own league who not going anywhere, Jamaica struggled against them. I still believe Haiti is a threat. I don't know what is in the heart of the Haitian people.
But to always beat them, though, Mannings.
Well, Trinidad, I would not say that with Trinidad.
Haiti, I mean, Haiti.
Yes.
Not necessarily Trinidad, but Haiti.
Not necessarily Trinidad. It's just like I tell people, I don't have no fear for El Salvador and Guatemala and them team there, you know. Or even Honduras, you know.
And manager now no fear, more present now no fear for Cavalier either. But
no man, you're mad man. No kind of fear for Cavaliers. Cavaliers
always win. That's right. Cavaliers always win.
Must be Cavalier monkey for about no man.
Man, people, family, I'm not talking about a finish. Hey, listen, I am. Me talk about big international. You man, I got to tell about Cavaliers, you know, man. But what I say is though, Suriname must be watched. Same thing with Curacao, French Guyana, all of these teams. But do not shut your. Remember, was it Grenada who went to the Gold Cup last year? They qualified. It was Grenada, right? Green and yellow. They played.
You mean Guadeloupe?
No man, Grenada man.
Grenada.
Grenada was.
You mean that? Man. Okay, yeah.
And they had a few players from the Championship, League One and League Two. They played in green. They played in red and yellow.
Oh yes, and I remember now. Yeah.
And they look accomplished. They didn't look out of place. The point I'm making.
I remember.
The point I'm making is that listen, when it comes on to these tournaments, the teams somehow make the gap between the powerhouses and the lower ranked teams so close. So I don't think it is where, okay, yeah man, Jamaica go beat Haiti, yeah man, Jamaica go beat St. Lucia. Those days are over. Mexico don't, you think Mexico walk into a game now thinking like, yeah man, this is Jamaica and write down 3 points? I don't think the USA does that. I don't think Canada do that anymore. And we should not do that against the Suriname and the Curacao either. Because Mexico and the USA are not doing it with us. They're not doing it with us. So I think the gap all around has closed. And everybody need to improve. But this is a good discussion. Family, big up, you know, because you know, from Suriname, you know, family going to be around here somewhere. big up, Mr. Speed.
Bless up.
Yeah, I think it was Formula program. I did always see the Suriname article, you know, the Suriname boost, you know, talking about it regular. I think so, you know, Formula. I think it was you.
No, man, not my program. It wasn't my program. You're confusing me with JD from IMAX.
It's not JD, man, but in converse, Formula get converted to the passing style of Suriname football.
It looks good.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy for them still.
Yeah, man. But Formula, what I'll say that I'd love for you and Mr. Speed and Marlon to discuss this. Can you see this thing about possession needs to be analyzed? The effectiveness of possessing the ball to determine quality and getting the result in determining quality. Because at the end of the day, the main factor that determines quality is how many games you win. I'm going to tell you that. At the end of the day, if I win every tournament, right, and I win every game, you know, possession don't matter that much.
But Mannings, we started with the two previous World Cup winners, the two past World Cup winners, right?
Okay.
Remember
but we need to have a discussion on that to really break it down.
They need to make a program about that alone, Mannings, man.
Yeah, but me don't know.
Yeah, man, and invite me when the time come, man.
all right.
I'm crush Rudolph Speed and Marlon.
So we do a farm and I'll get to facts. But people, big up for yourself. Our management, this has been I Am Sure Sports. And as usual, it gets to this point of the show. We say we're over and out. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, share, and like. It was a pleasure being here with you as usual. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. We are OUT as usual. Out of here.
Watch out, people. Watch out. Me get my jersey already. So you know, it's like Ali Cup up. Ali Cup is not a Folly Cup. August 12 and 13, 137 Mountain View Avenue. You know, it's an XL headquarters that. That one you go loud, it's a pro. So come bust the crowd and the cloud. Because we're going to have fun. Yo, hear me now. If you now do the right thing, you are do the wrong thing. From you are do the wrong thing, you are going to get a spanking. Can't power with football, sambo, now they're the ranking. Chris, if you push the boy them off of the gully banking, rise up in the morning, Father God, me have to thank him. Praise the most high before me get me there cranking. It's all about Ali Cup. August 12 and 13, Delawang's full Darcy to the fullest. So be there. Remember, Aggie Animal, striving for excellence. Mad.